Good afternoon, YouTubers. Welcome back in to another week of Astros Recap PostSeason edition. I need to stop calling it, Astros Recap, like weekly editions, because this is not weekly anymore. It's just whenever I feel like, basically, after the Astros play a few games. So it's just Astros Recap PostSeason edition. It is October 29th, 3:20 p.m., so not usual my time of day, but just, I had some time here, and since, I'm home alone right now, I kind of set the stage of what's occurring here, so I'll do that. The Astros have a game here in about 4.5 hours, so they are back home, so that's the good news, and they won games 4 and 5. So I talked to you Friday night. When I did, I mentioned getting a win, which was the most important thing at that point in time. I mean, the best you could have hoped for going on the road is winning 2 of 3 and just pushing the series, getting it back to Houston to have a chance. But we're now set up in a very good position, better than we could have ever have hoped for, winning all 3 in Washington. And to be quite honest, these games weren't even close. I mean, the closest game was Game 3, the one I talked about on Friday, where they won 4-1. But Greinke, I talked about, was working himself into and out of a lot of trouble, constantly runners on base. Basically, the story of the series, if I were to pick one big storyline, it's been who can hit with runners in scoring position. The Astros had that big issue in games 1 and 2, and then it basically flip-flopped. The Nationals couldn't do it in 3, 4, and 5, and the Astros hit a lot of home runs, so they weren't doing a lot of, RBI singles, doubles, things like that. Chirinos had home runs both Friday and Saturday. Springer had a big home run. Alvarez finally got into the act in Game 5. Correa. There's just, a lot of home runs there. Bregman hit a grand slam on Saturday. So our bats came out alive, and we did very well. The best we could have possibly have done, So we're back here for Game 6 and possibly 7. Hopefully we can wrap things up tonight, of course. But if not, we'll have to go on tomorrow. Tomorrow, that's sort of a scary situation, certainly nerve-wracking situation. So to avoid that at all costs, tonight's the one to get, I would say. With Verlander on the mound, I mean, Cole's been the better of the two comes to postseason pitchers, but when it comes to Verlander, guy that's got all the experience in the world, he's never won a postseason start, believe that or not. He's like 0-4 or something like that. Don't know the exact record, but kind of surprising. But guy that's been there, and he's the man. So, I can't think of another pitcher I'd rather have right now in this situation other than Justin Verlander. But so in Game 3. Got my phone here. Pull up the at-bat app. Well, I talked about Game 3, actually, last Friday. So, Game 4, I was at the watch party for, so that game got off to a good start. They scored in the first inning, I believe. Getting off to a good start is definitely important there. But I definitely have to pull up my app to sort of re-jog my memory briefly here. So, let's see. They win this game 8-1, but they put up 2 runs in the first inning. They actually had an opportunity to score more, but only 2 runs were scored, and that was on a Alex Bregman single that drove in Jose Altuve, and then a Yuli Gurriel single that drove in Michael Brantley. So, yeah, a quick 2-0 lead. Chirinos added 2 more in the 4th on his 2-run home run. The Nationals did score off of Will Harris. Did he actually give up a run? I feel like Will Harris has not given up a run. So the run was actually charged to Josh James. So Jose Urquidy is actually the story of this game, because talk about the 2 runs I just mentioned that were scored, and then the Chirinos 2-run home run. Bregman added a grand slam, which really broke it open and basically put it out of reach. But Jose Urquidy was huge. This being a bullpen game, after using the 5 pitchers we used in Game 3, this was going to be interesting. I think I brought this up on my previous podcast about how we were going to sort of work through this bullpen, and knowing that we've just used 5, and AJ doesn't like to overwork his guys, although this is the World Series, so you have to play like there's no tomorrow. But Urquidy went through 5 innings, 2 hits. His actual line here. So, 5 innings, 2 hits, didn't walk a batter, struck out 4, was incredible. I mean, in fact, he had 67 pitches after the 5th inning, and I don't know why, but AJ decided to take him out and bring in Josh James. It made absolutely 0 sense. Things did work out, so I can't blame AJ Hinch for this, but Josh James did come in and struggled. He gave up 2 walks, and then subsequently a run did score when Harris was in the game on an RBI ground out. But, I mean, I know Urquidy's young and you don't want to overwork him, but in this situation, I would have let him ride. So you had to go to Josh James, who wasn't particularly good. So then you had to bring in Will Harris, and then you went to, after Bregman hit the grand slam to break things open, that's when you were able to use the guys in the bullpen that you usually wouldn't in tight games. So Rondon, Peacock, and Davinsky all got the final 9 outs that game. I'm trying to think. So they actually didn't allow any runs, so I guess that was good. Rondon couldn't finish his inning as he ran into some trouble, so Peacock, Rondon went 2/3 of an inning, Peacock an inning and a third, and then Davinsky got the final outs in the 9th. So we didn't have to use, like Osuna, Presley. Really, that's it. Because after, you think Will Harris and Josh James in the mix. Joe Smith, that's another guy I can't forget. He's been humongous in this postseason. Who would have thought, out of all the pitchers in that bullpen, Josh James could have been a good guess, but Joe Smith has just been incredible. Deserves all the credit in the world for what he's been able to do thus far. So that was an easy, low stress. Like I said, these games weren't close. And then game 5 yesterday, Alvarez hits a big 2-run home run in the second. Max Scherzer, who was supposed to start that game, got scratched. He had back, neck spasms. Apparently, he was dealing with something that was extremely excruciating pain, so he couldn't pitch. In fact, I was watching MLB Network just a few minutes ago. He was actually out in left field warming up, throwing the ball, so he actually looks okay. And this might have been the plan for the Nationals, if they couldn't use him, to look to use him in either today's or tomorrow's game. So I don't think by any stretch of the imagination he's done for the postseason. I think if the Nationals felt, even if we lose this game, to have him set up for 6 or 7, that would work in our favor. I mean, they got Strasburg tonight, and if Scherzer is as good as he looked basically 10 to 20 minutes ago, I could see him starting Game 7 if need be. Or come out in relief. I really don't know, but we'll see how things play out. But back to Game 5 there. So Alvarez, with the 2-run home run. So it was Joe Ross who got the start for the Nationals in place of Scherzer. And we had Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole did bounce back, only allowed 1 run. I think it was a Juan Soto home run, who's been their big hitter this series, Juan Soto. But we basically just came into their home place, and we basically just, throw any adjective you want. We beat them down pretty bad. Outscored them 19-3, I believe, in those 3 games. 7-1 was the final there in Game 5. As I'm trying to think here. So I know Springer had a big home run. Correa had a big home run. Talked about Alvarez's home run. Let me break this down. I can get these stats here. Okay, well, I got to move up a game. I'm still in Game 4 here. So, like I said, 7-1 was the final. Garrett Cole, to give you his line real quick, he pitched 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run it was earned. Struck out 9, walked 2. Joe Smith and Ryan Presley got the final 6 outs that game. But the scoring, trying to get to here. So Alvarez, like I said, hits a home run, 2-run shot. Correa hits a 2-run shot. Gurriel hits a RBI single. And then Springer hits a 2-run home run to account for all 7 runs. And like I mentioned earlier, Juan Soto hit the home run for the Nationals. But like I said, these games weren't really close. The closest game we had was probably Game 1. Nationals were up 5-2. We came back to close the gap, but still lost 5-4. And Game 2 was close until the Nationals broke it open in the 7th. So, but you think about stressful games. Kind of think to most stressful postseason game the Astros have played in for my viewing. So this is an opinion of mine. But Game 2 against the Yankees, I remember sitting here on this couch. I'm actually in the living room tonight, but on this couch right here, and being so nervous every pitch, every out, that was most nerve-wracking for me because I felt like that game was so important, which it was. You could bring up Game 6, when Altuve hit the walk-off home run and after, Osuna blew it, but that wasn't as stressful as Game 2 was. So stress is good at some points. Not stress, but more of a nervous factor, I guess you could say. But there hasn't been a lot of that. I mean, the game on Friday against the Nationals was also a little nerve-wracking just because we needed to win so bad, and 3 runs, although it's a pretty good gap, especially with the guys that were coming in, it still felt real close. And we'll see. So, yeah, winning tonight I think is the big thing. I think that they're set up. Verlander's pitching. They get the day off. Nationals probably enjoyed the day off more than the Astros because they needed to sort of regroup, which is what we did. In fact, the biggest part of our comeback in this series was probably that day off on Thursday, just to sort of regroup. I talked about they had that players-only meeting. I don't know how much that played a part, but the Astros have been able to do this all year. They've been able to lose games, sometimes a little mini losing streak, but pick themselves back up, get off the deck, and then just regroup and then go back out and play like we've been used to all year. So this is really nothing surprising. I mean, it being the World Series and the magnitude is so big and high, there's a lot of that plays into it, but the Astros just don't let the situation get the most of them. They're usually pretty calm and collective. They never get too high, too low. A.J. Hinch attributes to that in a very big way. But this is just who they are, who they've been all year. So, I mean, taking all 3 in Washington in the World Series is humongous. It just puts them in this perfect position today to really finish us off. I don't want to play Game 7. I really don't want to play Game 7. Greinke would be slated to start that game, but just where we are right now. So, kind of want to set the stage. So, yeah, it'll be Strasburg tonight for the Nationals, Verlander for the Astros, and then we'll go from there. No real injuries or players to really bring up. Everything's pretty regular in that regard. I'm trying to think. Alvarez, who's hit a lot better in the World Series, he was kept out of both Game 3 and 4, and they elected to go with defense, which I have no problem with whatsoever. So, I think Reddick either started one game or Risnick started one game, and then Alvarez got the start in left, but came out in like the 6th inning after he got his 3rd hit. So, but yeah, the home run was we were waiting for that for a long time. So it had been the longest time Alvarez has gone without a home run all year. So he'll be back in tonight as the DH. I don't know if lineups are put out yet. They might be, but it'll be the regular people. So probably be Springer leading off, of course. Altuve hitting 2nd. Brantley 3rd. Bregman 4th. It's like Correa 5th. Alvarez, no. Yuli Gurriel 5th, Correa 6th, Alvarez 7th, and then basically Chirinos from Reddick. That'll probably be, Chirinos will definitely be catching since it's Verlander. So Trinos will be in there with probably Josh Reddick would be my guess. If not, it'd be Jake Marisnick. And, of course, they'd move Springer from center to right, put Marisnick in center. But I would imagine it would be Josh Reddick. Yeah, that's what I'll go with. So that'll be our lineup. And then the Nationals, I want to see if they have these posted yet because I don't know. They do. So, official lineup. So, I just said everything about the Astros. I'm seeing if I messed up anywhere. Gurriel, I said 5th. So, Alvarez will hit 6th, Correa 7th, and it'll be Chirinos and Reddick. So, that one mess up right there between the 6 and 7. Just swap Alvarez and Correa. But, so yeah, George Springer, Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley, Alex Bregman, Yuli Gurriel, Yordan Alvarez, Carlos Correa, Robinson Chirinos, and Josh Reddick will be the order for the Astros. Nationals will lead off with Trey Turner, go to Adam Eaton, Anthony Rendon, Juan Soto, Howie Kendrick, Asdrubal Cabrera, Ryan Zimmerman, Victor Robles, and Yan Gomes. So there's your lineups for Game 6. That's nothing new. That's what it's been basically the entire postseason. So game starts, like I said, about 3.5 hours. So we'll be ready to go. Be watching it, and I will talk to you most likely. Well, we'll see. If they win, I'll be popping bottles tonight, so might get a little crazy. So might be in a few days. Could be tonight if George is over, because that's who I'm actually going to celebrate with, Christian, who we met on this podcast about a week ago. About a week and 2-3 days. He's actually in Orlando for work, so he texted me, said he would be unavailable to celebrate. But I made sure George was going to be on board, so I went out, bought champagne yesterday, 4 bottles to pop if they can win it. If they don't, we'll wait till tomorrow. If they don't win tomorrow, then we keep the champagne on ice and we'll use it for some other celebratory champagne, whether it's New Year's next year, I don't know. But anyway, I'm prepared. That's all I'll say about that. So anyway, yeah, coming up 17, 18 minutes. I only talked about 2 games, sort of set the stage, lineups, pitchers, things for today. I might talk to you tomorrow if the Astros are playing a 7th game, or I might just talk to you to wrap up the season in the World Series. So most likely find some time tomorrow. If not, it'll be days down the line. In fact, if you hit that subscribe button, you'll get the video right when it comes out. So go ahead and try to do that. Also, smash that like button, share this with your friends, leave comments, all that good stuff that YouTube allows you to do. But yes, I will talk to you in the coming days, hopefully with a guest. That would be ideal. So good luck. Hope the Astros can wrap this thing up, and we're having a good time tonight. But let's stay humble. Anyway, wrap things up there. Like I said, all that good stuff on YouTube, and I will talk to you in the coming days. We'll wrap things up there. We'll see you then.